Today we take a look at Mrs. Ramirez's math block at Rogers Elementary.
So what is the purpose for this lesson?
Today's purpose is to compare and order fractions, to look at fractions with a collaborative group. We're going to be working on a 3 reads problem, and they've gone through the first 2 reads. We're going to review the reads, and we're going to see how well they work together to compare and order fractions.
How do you set your students up for success?
To make sure my students are successful in an activity like today, I make sure that they're with a heterogeneous partner when they're working together today. I also give them the manipulatives that they need in order to draw. They're going to be doing some drawing today to show their representations of the STEM, the story STEM. So I make sure those manipulatives are made available to the students. And I'm also going to have sentence frames up for my English language learners to be able to communicate, because this is a collaborative group work activity. All right, are you ready?
Yes.
Side A. On your mark, get set, go.
The math block starts with math sprints to practice fact fluency. Students complete facts on 2 sides of a sheet. Then they compare the results on both sides.
I'm impressed. These are 9s, kids. These are the 9s. And I see some kids that got further down the column than yesterday, and I see some kids that worked on both sides, both columns. That's awesome. Let's go ahead and correct them. 9 times 9, 81. 10 times 9, 90. 72 divided by 9, 8. How many of you improved by at least 1? Let's focus on the math walls real quick. We're going to take a look at what our purpose has been the last few weeks, and then a question that we're trying to make, our essential question we're going to make sure that we can answer. And John Paul, what is our essential question we're going to try to answer?
How do I compare fractions? So I have to think about those.
So I have, is this second question really important?
Yes.
Do you need to think about the whole when you are comparing fractions?
Yes.
Yes, that is really important. Let's go ahead and review, and I'd like you to go ahead and just read the problem you have. Okay, 1, 2, 3, let's read with me. At school, Sarah, Mommy, and Debbie each have. Remember, yesterday we talked about who and what. Who's in this story and what's happening? Let's do a quick review. Who's in this story and what's happening? Cruz. Give me a who.
Sarah and
Okay, and what's happening? Who can tell us what's happening? Scarlett.
They're each cutting a certain amount off their yarn.
So they're cutting pieces off of same size piece of yarn, same size piece of yarn for an art project, right? All right, let's talk about the vocabulary words real quick. Darcy, what's one vocabulary word we talked about yesterday?
inch.
Inch. And read what we wrote for inch.
A unit of measurement that is about
You can show me with your finger.
yeah, like that long.
Like that long. Okay. We're going to kind of move into our second read. We're going to talk about the quantities we have in this situation.
One quantity in the situation is 16 inches, and it represents how long the piece of yarn is.
The piece of yarn is that, can we add to that, that each
Person
that each person has. Excellent. Andrew, do you have another quantity?
1/4.
One.
One quantity in the situation is 1/4, and it represents how much Sarah cuts off of her 16-inch yarn.
And I'd like you to have a few minutes to work on your drawing, your representation that you have for the quantities we just talked about.
It says 2 inch, you would have to shade it 2 inch.
No, you're actually supposed to shade in 4. 2/8 is 4.
When I was in a hurdle on this, what is the equal part? The equal part is how much the denominator is on the bottom. Look, this is 1/8. Are there 2 pieces of 1/8?
So what does the numerator represent? Remember that we are shading or naming. Okay. So if we see 1/4 here, we know that 1 doesn't mean 1 inch. If we see 1/4, it means 1 out of what? 4 equals. Okay, so think about that. Can 1 be equal to 1 inch?
3/8 and 2/8. No, if you add those, yeah, we're gonna add these together. What am I saying? If 2 8s make 4, right? And 2 4s is equal a half. Yeah. Whose yarn is longer? Sarah's?
No, why?
Hobby's? Or Debbie's?
Can you help her out?
Yeah. It is 16 but 3 is fake. Yeah, we put together. This is the
Your fracture strip? Who has a wondering, real quick, somebody started coming up with wonderings about this situation? Christian?
How much longer will 16 inches be if you add together Sarah, Harvey, and Debbie?
Okay, so you want to know how long it would be to put Javi's piece that he cut with Debbie's piece that she cut and Sarah's piece that she cut all together. Do you have an answer to that? You think you do? We're going to move on to the wondering that I have. I'm going to give you kids a wondering, and I'm going to ask you to solve it. This is the wondering I have for you since no one came up with this one. So we're trying to figure out what her piece is in inches that she cut off from her 16-inch piece of yarn. Does everyone understand the question?
Yes.
You ready to get to work and see if you can solve that answer? Go ahead.
More than 16. These big ones. 1/4. So, 1/4. We're not saying to do it. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4.
We're going to have some friends share. We're going to listen and we're going to watch our friends and see kind of some of the strategies that they used. Well, you have some tools with you. All right, come on in.
So Sarah cut off 4 inches of the yarn, and since the hole would be 16 inches, it would be like the fourth would be 1/4 is here.
Do you agree with Kaylin?
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you. I'd like you to talk with your table group this one.
Okay, so I get how this is like there's 4 groups. I get how there's like 8.
Because there's 4. Those, and then a few kids.
A student in class that can kind of tell us in words how maybe the discussion we had and having watching our friends solve the problem helped us. Is there someone who can talk about that? How did that help us?
What Kaylin did, it actually explained more to me how I also could about the ends of.
A different way?
Uh-huh.
And what part of what Kaylin did helped you? Do you remember?
The number line,
The number line, and he had each part of the number line labeled with what?
8ths or 4ths.
He had fourths on it. And did he measure that number line for you?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Darcy, one last thing.
Well, I kind of found like another easy way to do it, and I actually with the yarn fold it in half. Now you have a half, and then you can do this. Now you have 4, so then you can just measure. And also, I guess you can kind of use it with the tape measure. Like you can kind of show it out. You can bend it the same way.
You can take 16 inches. Go ahead, open it up. Show us 16 inches. Okay, and you're gonna fold it into, you said bend it, that's fine, or fold it.
Can do this. And then do that, and then that should be 4 inches.
And you're right, thank you. Okay, boys and girls, I wanna say thank you so much. You did a fantastic job.
And now, what are your next steps?
I I think after watching today, one of the problems a lot of the kids had, some of the kids had, was the hole. They need to make sure that when we think about the hole, that they realize that's the 16 inches. Some of the kids got the fraction strips out, and that fraction strip the hole is not 16 inches, so they were trying to make that connection. It makes it very hard, which again is in my essential question. We're going to constantly work on that. We always have to think about what the hole is. Another thing I'd like to do is take this 3 reads problem a little further, and I'm going to do some equivalent fraction work with the 2/8 and the 1/4. I think for 3rd grade that's one of our standards as well, and we're going to work on identifying those equivalent fractions using this same problem stem.